This season, I'm not sure if I definitely want to include music, but I don't know if I do want to include it all the way like how I did Time With, and always include music, or just like at the end, or probably less, be more like our music. That's funny, huh? Our music. Probably more music from like the team, the people I know, more like collaborated, community built music than like mainstream, more underground. Cause this journey here is like, it's a lot of gems, Easter eggs, a bunch of them, a lot of motivation. Like this one has the stuff you need. So yeah, let's talk about how I started the merch, like my first experiences with my first design, onto the next ones, onto like launching the website and all that, right? The website was 6 years ago. So let's go back 6 years, 7 years, 6 years, 7 years, whenever I did my first design. Now, for those that don't know, I've been writing music, doing and performing music since I was like 12. I was 16, 15, 16. So I kind of already had an idea of what I wanted to do and how I wanted to portray myself and blah, blah, because it was in that age where I just felt very creative. I was 16, guys. I was 15. I was being myself. I was learning how to be a grown person, like, you know. So naturally doing business and entrepreneurship, it allowed me to focus on the business side of music and put myself out there without really knowing like that I was establishing a network. I would just talk to people that I knew, and they knew that I did music and would share and whatnot. And when there'd be events, somehow, some way, I would find out, and we would end up performing. And of course, you know, the people who did music with me and I did music with, which were back then Strategy, which was the Skills Blaze. Who else was in there? Who else? It was just them three, really. And I don't know if they had anybody else, but they would do local performances. And at school, I would sell snapbacks. I would sell candy. I would sell whatever I could to make some cash, even bracelets. I remember middle school, I was selling candy and Beyblades, like paper Beyblades that I put my own design on and sold them for like $1 or $2. I don't even remember how much it was. But we were making money, me and my boy Robert. We were hustling out there. Shout out to Robert and Silas. Go back to them days. So this is all being a creative kid, right? And the snapbacks that I would buy would be stuff that I really enjoyed. Like, it was just so appealing to the eye and the colors. And I'd be like, I think this one would sell. I don't know why I felt like it would sell. So, yeah, I had, in a way, my own little store set up. And people would hit me up like, you got hats? And like, yeah, bro, these are the hats. And I'd post them every day, let's say on Instagram or Facebook. And I'd be like, hey, this is the hat that I have or whatever. Usually, I'd buy one a week or something, and it would sell within the week. And I would have often 2-3 sales per week. So I started getting, you know, more hats, and having a membership at Lids allowed me to get a discount and blah blah. I wasn't making about $1 or $2, right, per sale, which was nothing. But come on, guys, like, once you know how to make $1, you know how to make 2, you know how to make 5, 10, 20, and go up. And Joe, the Skills, he was from Strategy. He was reaching out, wanting a snapback, and I was like, I don't know if he offered the beats or if I said, hey, bro, I'll sell it to you for 3 beats or 2 beats or whatever. I think he made the offer, and I was like, heck yeah, I'll take some beats for the hat, you know? So he was excited. I was excited. We did the trade. That's how I met him. And then that's when we started making music together. That's when I had actually started performing more, because they were doing the local performances. They had, I guess, more contacts or whatever. We got a placement in downtown, and we sold all 50 tickets that were given to us. We performed. People showed love. And then years later, I met SJ and did a performance at the Rev Room. And it was the first time that I performed by myself because I took D as my hype man. I don't think like I was good with like strategy in them at that time. I think there was some type of misunderstanding, conflict or whatever during that time. So I performed by myself. I had the shirts. This was my first design of shirts. And on the website, I had launched it as well. I had put $10 a shirt or something. Original $15 or whatever. Because my original plan was selling 15. Family, like I was pushing 15 because I was like, man, like that's the only way I'll make profit. If I sell them for 10, like I'm just gonna meet at 0. So because family wanted to show love, like I'm like, all right, I can definitely push 15. They were okay with it. So when I perform, I wear the shirt. I wear it's a black and white short sleeve. That's the only design I had to afford because I had to get like at least 35 printed for me to get them for like $7 each. It was like $11 each with the print front and back. Yeah, because the shirt was $7 plus the printing front and back, and it was one color, and the shirt was like $11-12, so I could sell them for 15. Yeah, and I didn't want to sell them for 10 because I was gonna barely make ends meet. I remember that. Yeah. So I'm like, fuck it, it's promo, right? So I wear a long sleeve under it, and it looks like I'm wearing a hoodie, and that design is as a hoodie. And I don't know if people like really thought that's what I was selling, but I mean, I grabbed the shirt and I pulled it up, and I'm like, hey, I'm selling these shirts $10 each, blah blah. I was just probably rocking it well, and they were like, man, I mess with this, or they just showed love. The performance was great. I don't know what it was. This is the thing where we are always going to be learning, because no matter what we try to do, we're never going to really know what worked that day or what didn't. But everything just kind of worked for me. I made my money back. I sold all my tickets, and I was pretty much invested $600, and I made my $600 back. So I had $600 in my pocket that night. It was the greatest feeling ever, because I was like, I didn't flip anything, right? But I sold enough to make my money back. Like, how good did that make me feel for a one night experience by myself? Not really by myself. Like D, he's a great hype man, and there was a lot of work behind the scenes too, like with other people. But I got the music together and all that. Like all the music I had recorded, I was like, man, I'm gonna do this. I was the one hustling these tickets by myself and hitting people up. Like, it was crazy. So, greatest experience. And then I was like, I can do this again. But I was like, can I do it again like this? Like, give that same feel. I'm like, I definitely can. I just know, because people go on tours, I'm like, I know not that many people are going to be okay with it happening so soon. It was just in my head. But later on, we performed. It was me, Joe, Alec, D, Jeremy, Chris, and that night was great as well. It was just a whole lot of different people. My cousins performed that night. So that first night kind of like established the feeling of like, okay, I can do this. And I did a couple more there with collaborated with SJ and did a couple more performances at the Rev Room. But back to the merch. I felt that the experience I gave them along with the merch allowed me to make the sales on the merch, like connect them with the story behind the merch. So I've always enjoyed the merch and the writing, the lyrics, the bars pretty much, and the melodies. That's just been my interest. So pushing the merch at times, I would have trouble, because I would wonder, how would I do it to where it's like I could spend this much and I can make that money back guaranteed, you know, like, because in the first release, there were some sizes that didn't sell, right? So I'm like, dang, like, what do I do with these? Do I just keep them or what? Like, that's lost profit, lost money, right? Then I just keep digging, researching or whatever. I find websites, you know, we're in this 20th century, so there's websites that let you to do drop shipping and fulfill your needs, right? With your designs and stuff. And if they order it, they get the product, and if they don't want it, they don't get it, and you don't spend no money. That was a game changer. Well, I tried that, and of course, this is the era also where people are sketched out with how to pay for stuff. Like, they're not gonna easily go on a website, especially a rankly dinkly ass website, to buy some product that there's no like physical proof of. You know what I'm saying? Like, that was tough. I was like, nah, this is not gonna work so well, but it can work. A lot of other people are doing it. A few years later, I realized it's the marketing. It's the way people market. It's like, all right, the way people put the stuff out in front of other people is really what's selling. You don't see it in person. You see it online. You see it on Facebook. You're like, hey, I want to buy this. I want to see it because it looks dope on the picture. It looks like somebody's wearing it. Come on, let me order it. That's that time. That they even started doing the mock-ups on the website that I was going through the supplier. So it made it very easy for me to like, all right, put a design on there. And I actually got some sales, but they weren't on like through the people I knew or like friends or whatever. It was actually on eBay where I was running ads on the shirt and putting a design. And it wasn't even my design. It was just like, I don't know, like fan merch or whatever. Throw it on eBay, and whoever buys it or whatever because they seen it, like how I seen this product that I bought before on Facebook or whatever. And the thing about that made it successful was I didn't have to spend money up front. Like, they ran the ads in front of people, and then they buy it, and then you pay eBay the percent for the ad. That allowed me to learn that it's the marketing, right? There was a time where I wanted to do drop shipping and all that. Like, I wanted to get heavy into it, but I was like, yeah, it's enjoyable, but it's really not products I enjoy. Like, it's not products I put love into or put some type of meaning into. Well, now we're in 2020, and the website, the supplier I've been using, is like generating a lot of more work. Like, because of the pandemic, they get really busy and a lot of more demand, so they're able to grow, and now we're able to do embroidery. And let me tell you, this is probably like the best and most happiest move I've made since I was like probably 16 or something. When I bought all those shirts, I paid like $300, right? I bought all those tickets. I had to buy them up front to get them printed and to like hold the spots. It was half of the show, so I had to put another $300, right? I had to sell the tickets, 50 tickets for 10 each, 15 each, something like that. So that's what, about $500-$600, right? So if I would have sold the shirts with double profit, then yeah, I would have made $300 profit with the shirts and $300 profit with the show. But because the shirts I made zero, then the profit for the show were enough to pay me for the promo on the shirts, right? If you go back to when I started selling candy, I spent $200 the first time at Sam's. And my mom said I was stupid. She said I was stupid, y'all. Like, it's funny because, like, I'm sure she didn't mean it in a harmful way. But she said I was stupid for spending $200 at Sam's on candy. That same week, I sold it all at school, bring back $400. So this is when I start to learn entrepreneurship, right? Now, here I am at 2021. I spend a whole band on samples on these shirts. But not only is it a loss on profit or whatever, an investment, I don't see it like that anymore. I see it as just a need, because I need clothes. Eventually I'll need clothes. So yes, the clothes I have in my closet are more than 5 years old for sure. So like, now I'm not gonna grow anymore unless I grow sideways. The shirts I buy can be the whole product line of my shirts. I drop a whole band, I don't have to buy shirts for like another 10 years if I take care of them well. These are high quality Champion shirts embroidered, so there's no printing that's going to fade or none of that. And they're not that expensive. Per shirt, $30. A regular t-shirt that's embroidered, I mean, $30 is not bad. That's usually what you're paying for a shirt. That's pretty nice, pretty decent, right? And these, I honestly feel like they're worth more maybe, but that's the sweet spot for me right now. And profits are good. They're not bad. They're not horrible. You know, they're comfortable. I think it's a good investment. As soon as I make my money back of selling these shirts, then all of that will be profit. All of that will now be no more investing. Like, what more do I have to invest other than running ads and showing it to people's faces, you know? Like, as soon as I get to the point where I've made my money back and met back at zero with the regular promo, no spent promo, then I'll start spending my money on promo, because back then I wasn't doing that. So that's the move that I failed to do over the years. But everything happened for a reason. I didn't know what I was doing, and maybe it wasn't just the time, but those times allowed me to learn to get to where I'm at now. Launching the website, launching the LLC. I still got to learn a whole lot more doing this LLC stuff. Like the trademark. I didn't even know that I had to trademark my name and the Hourglass separately, which is a whole different $2,000, $1,000 each, just to trademark those things. I mean, yeah, research was done, but not enough, because they don't really put too much information out for people to learn. And they do, it's there. You just have to dig for it. And the reason why I create what I'm creating is to allow people to have an organized way of finding things and learning and experiencing things, because I'm taking you along the journey I'm learning. I'm not taking you from where I am now to like how I started and to where I am now and just throw everything else in between. Like, no, I'm not restructuring it. I'm just telling you what's happening as I go. So if I'm at 40 years old and retired, like, I remember when I was doing this, it's like, okay, I remember I did this and talked about this and did this. Like, go back and talk and listen to that, and you'll learn. That'll be your starting point, because from there on, you'll learn what else you need to do. Or if you want to start over from the very beginning and catch up, you can do that too. But I feel like it's going to be a time saver for one. It's going to be an organized way for people to understand. And it's going to have a whole lot more of replay value in the end. I'm not here to like collect all this money and run. Like, no, I'm here to give the energy I receive from the world and put it back and invest it back in the world, because I feel like that's what the world needs. Like, we all need to connect and build each other, not build ourselves. Like, build each other. Yeah, we build ourselves, but you got to build each other as you do so. You got to love yourself before you love someone else. You just got to love yourself so much enough to where you care about the result of others. If you don't care that much about others, then you don't love yourself. Like, you got to focus on the future of your kids, of what you're leaving behind, because that's what you have to show at the end. That's like your legendary mark. So yeah, I mean, that's pretty much what caused all this and what got us here. Now we're in 2021 with a whole lot of more crazy ideas about how we want to do services, how we want to do products, how we want to do releases, how we want to do music, how we want to present, like all this stuff. And then collaborations. Like, we love ourselves so much now that that allows us to like have so many more ideas about others. You know, like, there's a lot of people on this earth that don't know their purpose, don't know what they want, don't know what they're doing, they don't know what they're here for. And trust me, we're gonna find something for somebody to do. Eventually, I want to have a section where I have like creators that design art, in any kind of virtual form, and we can make it a physical form or keep it virtual and sell it as tokens, virtual tokens and all that. We're going to have creators in that aspect. We're going to have music producers and engineers. We're going to have photographers and videographers. We're going to have marketing agents. We're going to have financial advisors. And we're going to have mentors that give you a spiritual guidance. This is all going to be a community. We're going to have a couple clubs, maybe a pool club, a golf club, soccer club, something along those areas, but build a solid community. I wouldn't want to just like step in it and be like, blah, blah, blah. Like, no, I want to do it for the people that I grew up with, like I understand there's a lot of connections in those things, and I have connections to like those things as well. So I think it would be dope to like bring that on in the journey. Car club, bring that on there and just like make it something peaceful. Just do the same thing we're doing with the Time With podcast, but incorporate that in those sports, in those activities, and those communities. We'll take a break and then we'll talk about the last idea I have and then the next 2 weeks outlook.